In the bustling courtyard of the Galactic Academy, Aliya Zor watched as students of all species swarmed in every direction. She had just arrived when a sudden shriek pierced the air, followed by the crash of something heavy hitting the ground. The panic was immediate. A young Narvin, one of the fragile amphibious species with skin like polished marble, lay sprawled out, his leg twisted awkwardly beneath him. Red liquid pooled around his foot, slowly spreading across the white marble tiles. The source of the chaos? A large, heavily armored figure, standing like a statue in the center of the mayhem, his massive hands still clutching the edge of the bench. Khor, a young saurian, his silver scales glinting in the sun, remained frozen in place. The Narvin's cry echoed in Aliya's mind as she rushed to his side, the weight of the situation sinking in. Everyone inside. Now, she commanded, her voice carrying authority above the panicked noise. Her eyes remained focused on Khor, who was still in his rigid posture. Medical drones, attend to Rildan, she added. Khor, follow me. Her voice was firm, but there was a hint of pity in it. With mechanical precision, Khor followed her, the thudding of his footsteps like drums on the polished floors. The academy's wide corridors seemed to close in around them as they entered her office. He remained silent, his body stiff, his mind clearly wrestling with something far greater than the injury he had caused. The door clicked shut behind them. Aliya gestured to the chair, but Khor remained standing, his form tense. He still refused to speak. Sit down, Khor. You're not in trouble. I didn't mean to hurt him. Khor's voice was a growl of frustration. I was just playing. Just. Aliya leaned back in her chair, her hands folded on the desk in front of her. Tell me exactly what happened. Khor took a deep breath. His voice trembled. We were just sparring. Reel was quick, but I got excited. I raised my fists, my claws, and I thought he was far enough. But when I swung, I didn't see it coming. I caught him in the leg. He screamed. I saw his leg bend and knew what I'd done. Aliya's gaze softened. You didn't mean it, Khor. Accidents happen, but the way your culture handles them. The Saurian's jaw tightened. Accidents don't matter. Honor demands recompense. I hurt him, and so the code says I must pay the price. You don't have to fight, Khor, Aliya said, a gentle firmness in her voice. There's a way to fix this without bloodshed. His eyes narrowed, his breathing becoming faster. There is no other way. I've read the code, Aliya. A Saurian's honor cannot be mended by anything other than combat. If I don't face Royal's family in the arena, my clan will be disgraced forever. If I refuse, I will carry the shame until the day I die. Aliya sighed. What if there was another way? What if you didn't have to fight for your honor? He blinked, his confusion palpable. There is no other way. The code is sacred. What if you apologized? The air in the room seemed to freeze. Khor recoiled, his claws curling inward, as if her suggestion had physically struck him. Apologize. That is the worst dishonor imaginable. Think about this, Aliya said softly, leaning forward. Humans have something we call redemption. It's not about avoiding mistakes. It's about how you respond to them. Let me tell you about one of our greatest warriors, Captain Carr. Khor's brow furrowed. A human warrior. Yes, Aliya said. Carr was the leader of an expedition on a planet we thought was deserted. They discovered a remote settlement, only to accidentally kill a family during a firefight. The humans had no reason to be there, but they'd mistakenly fired on them. He could have blamed it on faulty intel or chaos, but he didn't. She paused, letting the weight of her words settle in. Carr went to every surviving family member, stood in front of them, and said, "I did this. I was wrong, and I am sorry." She smiled, a faint sadness in her eyes. Carr didn't try to justify his actions. He accepted responsibility, knowing it would cost him everything. His apology wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a mark of courage. And guess what? He was honored, promoted, and celebrated for his bravery, not in battle, but in humility. Khor's expression was torn between disbelief and confusion. But that's impossible for us. Our culture, it doesn't allow for such weakness. Aliya stood, pacing slowly. That's where your species gets it wrong. Honor codes that worked for small, isolated clans can't work in a galaxy filled with hundreds of species. You've got strength, Khor, but your strength can't exist in isolation. It's time to evolve. Khor's claws twitched, his body trembling in silent conflict. If I apologize, what then? Would they accept me? Ryle's family doesn't want you dead. They want to know their son's pain wasn't in vain, that you'll never make the same mistake again. They want you to learn from this. Khor was silent for a long moment, before finally speaking, his voice quiet and unsure. And if they reject me, then you'll have tried, Aliya said, a gentle smile tugging at her lips. But Khor, let me tell you something about strength. True strength is found in humility. It's in being able to grow, to change, and to say, "I'm sorry." It's in fixing what you've broken, even when it seems impossible. The room was still as Khor processed her words. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, he looked up at her with a new kind of resolve in his eyes. "All right," he said, his voice low but steady. "I will do it. I will apologize. And I will face them." That night, in the Academy's arena, Khor stood in front of a crowd, his scales a swirling display of uncertainty and fear. The tension was thick in the air as the Zor clan members and the Narvan family waited, their eyes trained on the young Saurian. "I hurt you," Khor said, his voice shaky but growing in strength. "I didn't mean to. I was careless, and I've learned that my claws can harm more than just the enemy. I am sorry." The crowd was still. Then, Rill, sitting at the front of the spectators, stood up slowly and walked to Khor. His family watched, unsure. With one delicate hand, Rill reached out. "I forgive you," he said softly, offering his hand to Khor. The arena was silent for a moment before the crowd erupted in a wave of applause. Humans, Zor, even the Saurians in the back, all joined in. Later that evening, Aliya received a message from Commander Vixtar, the head of the Saurian Council. "You've done something no one believed possible. Perhaps there is room for change in our ways after all. The Saurian Council wishes to discuss new ways to live among other species. Thank you for showing us that honor is not just about strength. It is about the strength to change." Aliya smiled as she watched Khor, now laughing and playing with Rill in the academy courtyard. The world was changing, and for the first time, Khor had found something even more powerful than his honor: friendship. What would you choose? Honor through combat or the strength to grow? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe. for more powerful stories of courage, change, and the human spirit.